my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. So today we are actually going to speak about how I experienced the love of God before my father passed on. So my parents are originally from Angola, the southern part of Angola. So they moved to Namibia in the early 80s. So my dad got a job in Namibia. My mom also got a job here. So they then decided to settle down. Only my older brother and older sister were actually born in Angola. The rest of us, because we're 7, the rest of the 5 of us were born in Namibia. So after so many years of my dad working for that certain company, he then got retrenched, or he lost his job, I think, I'm not sure. So then my dad decided to go back to his home country, which is Angola. And then he went to stay there for a while. But then he normally also used to come and visit his children and then go back and so forth. So the last time when he got sick, when my dad got sick actually, his relatives then decided that he needs to come to Namibia, to the hospitals, because the hospitals or the health system in Namibia is way better than the southern part of Angola, where my relatives are, where my dad stays. Not that I'm saying that Angola does not have a good health system, no. I'm just saying that in Namibia it's way better, I think. So I'm not saying that the southern part of Angola's health system is not good, no. I'm just saying that compared now to where my dad lived, I think, this side in Namibia's health system is better. So when my dad came, my brothers then decided that, okay, we are going to take him to the hospitals and so forth. So it was a long process. So he was taken to Windhoek, or the hospital in the area. So my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, but then the doctor that actually diagnosed him said that they were thinking of operating him, but then they said that should he have come earlier, they would have done that, but then it was now already too late for them to operate him. So all he needed to do was just to wait. So that was in 2018. 2018. And my dad only passed on in 2019, at the end of 2019 or so forth. So we then spent that entire year with my dad. It was really not easy. And I remember there was a time, because I normally used to go visit my dad and just pray for him, because I live with my mom and my dad was staying at his house where my siblings are. So I normally after work, I'll go and pray for him and just sit down with him, and then we'll speak and all that. So one day I remember I went to pray for him. I was with my older sister. So when we were done praying for my dad then gave me an ointment, because he wanted me to massage him. So he gave me a little ointment bottle so that I can be able to massage him. So I took that bottle and then started massaging his back. So when I started massaging his back, a sense of compassion then just came upon me. I don't know what happened. And then I just started crying, because my father was looking very frail. He became so slim. And my father is not someone who was slim. He was not slim. He was also not too fat, or I don't know how to put it, but he had a very good body. And then just seeing my dad so slim, I think just made me have that compassion. So I started crying, and I could not stop myself. And my sister, my older sister, was there, so she was like, "Don't cry," and actually comforting me. And when she was comforting me, she also then, I think she also then started crying. Because, you know, when someone is crying and then you are comforting that person and you also have now a compassionate heart, you also just start crying. And I'm actually someone who's very emotionally strong. I believe that I'm someone who doesn't really cry or show my emotions, and I could just not stop myself. I was crying, and my sister started crying, if I'm not mistaken. And I felt so bad that we are the ones that are not sick, because my dad was now the one being there saying, you guys, it's okay, you don't need to cry and all that. So after crying, we then stayed with him for a while, and then we decided that okay, let's go home, because my sister stays at her own place and I live with my mom, so I went home. So I remember when I was going home, I then experienced this peace that I do not understand, that I could actually not understand. That same peace that was spoken by Apostle Paul in Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7, if I'm not mistaken. A sense of that peace actually came upon me, and I was so at peace. Instead of being sad because of the situation that happened when I was massaging my dad, I was just at peace. My heart was at peace. And when I went home, I think 3 days after that, I had to travel with work. So I lived with my mom and my little nephew. So I remember it was around 6 or 7 p.m. So I decided that, okay, since I'm going to travel the following day to the north with work, I then took my nephew on my back, and then I said, okay, let's go and say hi to grandpa, because I'm going with work. So we went, and when I came to my dad, I think he was in that state of maybe now about to die or something. I'm not sure, I don't know. And he could not actually recognize me and my nephew. So when we came in the room, he was like, who are these? And then I had to explain to him, but I could see that he probably it was time for him to go. So I told him that I'm going with, I told him where I was and my nephew, that it's Romeo, it's me and Romeo, and I'm traveling with work tomorrow, so I just came to say goodbye. And it's as if I probably knew that I'm never going to see my dad again, because that was actually the last time I saw my dad. And when I went back home, my sister escorted me. My sister escorted me, and she still had that hope, because I remember us standing somewhere and then us speaking about it, and she was like, no, he'll actually he'll like pull out of this and all that. Not that I don't have hope, but then I knew deep down that that was probably the last time I was gonna see my dad, because of the condition that I saw him that day. But then the good thing is I still had that peace that I experienced that day. It was still in me, and I could still not understand how I'm so at peace. Instead of being sad, that peace was still upon me or surrounding me, or and it's just the grace of God that I had that peace. So when I traveled with work, I think 3 days after that, or 4 days, but 3 I think, I then got news that my dad passed on. And mind you, the person that actually told me the news or SMS'd me about condolences was actually not a family member. And that's why I think that we should actually be mindful. If you hear that someone's dead or uncle, auntie passed on, let's be mindful of not just deciding that, okay, let me tell this person that condolences. At least let a day pass so that the families can actually tell each other before the rest of us come and say, oh, I heard that your dad passed on and all that. Not that I'm mad, not that I'm angry or anything, or not that I was angry with this person or anything, but it's just a word of advice. When you hear that a person's family member or so has passed on, wait and at least wait for a day to pass before you inform or before you say your condolences, because sometimes you might actually be the first person to tell someone that bad news. So I had them to travel back home and then just be with the family, and I'm really glad for the fact that I work for a faith-based organization, and I had people that were praying for me, people that were praying for my family. My church members were also there, and really, I still don't understand how I got to experience that peace that Apostle Paul spoke about. And I know that we all go through situations. We all have circumstances that we do not understand how God actually pulled us through those situations or circumstances. And my encouragement to you guys is just to really have faith, stay in the Lord, read your word, have a circle of friends or even church members that you can be with, so that whenever a situation like that comes, and it will come, we all will go through trials and tribulations. When such a time comes, at least you have people that are there for you, that will pray with you, that will encourage you. So yeah, that's actually just a small testimony of how I experienced the peace of God that really indeed surpasses all understanding. So please do like, comment if you also have a similar situation, share, like, and just, yeah, thank you very much.